What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a preview. We play Verona tomorrow. I don't think a lot of people are gonna be excited about. Well, first off, playing Verona, and secondly, playing Verona in the situation we're in. Because I think a lot of people still believed in the title or had any slight hope that we will be in a title race, and that's now completely crushed and gone. So pair that with playing Verona. I don't think you're going to generate a lot of interest, but everybody who is watching or is rewatching this, thanks, because it's tough to get up for these type of games, especially, again, like I said, for the moment you're in now. It's not easy. Like, it's not easy to actually get up for it. You're gonna watch the game because it's Juve. But again, you didn't beat two other relegation sides in Empoli and Udinese. This one is probably the worst one out of the three. You play them away from home. I get that, but still, it's the worst one out of the three. Yeah, it's the worst one of the relegation sides. However, we failed the previous two times, so here we go again. And it won't get, like, after Verona, it will get worse. It will get much tougher, the game. So that's it. We will go over the quotes, the lineup. I just remembered that with the lineup, I still have not put Diallo and Alcaraz in the lineup. I'll add that graphic when they actually get significant minutes and potentially could start the game. I will do that. However, we will go over his presser first off, because obviously he spoke. Actually, the club also released a video on his what was it? His record-tying Lippi for most games coached for Juve. Was it 405? I think it was, or 402. I think 405. And he said some interesting things on those. Interesting things. Some very I don't know, strange things in my opinion. But we'll go into the presser first. He opened up with saying that we have earned a point in 2 games at home, and that's not good. Well, obviously, tomorrow will be complicated. Will be a complicated away match. Verona are in a difficult situation, but are doing well. We need to work on our attitude, not only in terms of performance, but above all in terms of attention to detail. Verona are not doing well. Verona won 2 games. Let that sink in. Since September the 1st, Verona won 2 games. One of them was against Empoli, and the other one was against Cagliari. 2 relegation sides. Let that sink in. I'll repeat that. Verona have won 2 games since September the 1st, when they lost against Sassuolo. One of them at home against Empoli, relegation side. One of them at home against Cagliari, relegation side. And Allegri says Verona are doing well. That's one of the biggest lies you will ever hear. Verona are not doing well. Like, they're a relegation zone. They're not doing well. If you look at their last results, they drew Monza, lost against Napoli, drew Frosinone, lost against Verona, won against Empoli, lost to Inter, lost to Sanitana, won against Cagliari, like I said, lost Fiorentina, lost Lazio, drew Udinese, drew Lecce, lost Genoa, lost Monza, lost to Bologna, lost to Juve, again lost to Napoli, Frosinone. Like, that's not a good run of games. I don't know what he's talking about when he says Verona are doing well. Verona are a relegation side for a good reason. Again, like Empoli was, like Verona, Udinese was. There's no need to come out and say they're a good team or like they're doing well. In a difficult situation, but they're doing well. They're doing horrible. They are a horrible side, so I cannot really blame them, but they're doing horrible. They're not on a hot streak at all. Like, it's not that they come off back-to-back wins. It's not. Like, they're a very poor side. I don't know if anyone watched Verona games. It's boring to watch Verona. I'm not going to lie that. It's not that you can cut them open and stuff like that, but they lose games because they're like, if you look at their squad, they have no quality in that squad. They will lose games. They will try to keep it close. However, they will keep losing games because that's who they are. So saying they're doing well is, well, I want to say a stretch, but it's It's bigger than just a stretch. You know, they're not doing well, Verona. They're a very poor side. So were Empoli and so were Udinese. So that I will not have. You know, I don't want to. Again, like you play these teams. I watched the first half of Inter. I don't know if anyone watched the first half. I watched the first half and then I stopped watching it. That was total domination. A bit like we did in the first half against Santana. Excuse me. If you just forget what Gatti did. Other than that, we dominated them, excuse me. But that Inter first half was total domination. That's what you do against relegation side, especially at home. Away, I get it. You know, you're not going to be that dominant, you know. However, that's how you play against relegation side. From minute one, you go after them, and you put them away, and that's it. And if that doesn't work one time, I get it. But over the course of a season, that's how you need to deal with these sides. We tend to keep poor sides in a game way too long, you know, and we got away with it a lot of the times. But it will stop. At one point, it will stop, you know. And tomorrow, you know, he talked about there's still a lot to play for, and I will go over that. I'm not really sure what's there to play for unless it's Coppa Italia, but that's just a competition in itself. And even that now, if you look at the Lazio side, how they're performing lately, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a complete will be a complete, you know, walkover, or like will be like, oh, we're just going to beat Lazio and we're going to go into the semifinal. That doesn't look like it at all at this moment in time. So you also need to keep that in mind. Other than that, there's not really much to not really much to talk about, you know. However, you didn't beat Empoli, you didn't beat Udinese. Now imagine if you not beat Verona as well. Then, if we come out of that game tomorrow and we don't beat Verona, I will come on, and I'm not going to say that top four should be at risk, but it will be at risk, because that means that locker room or whatever, that team is completely falling apart. If you don't beat Verona, after failing to beat Empoli and Udinese, if you fail to beat Verona as well, that's a big worry, and Allegri is in big trouble, in my opinion. You know, it would be big trouble for Allegri if he doesn't beat Verona tomorrow. It really, really would. So that can obviously not happen. Let's move on. I will read out the comments after I went over the quotes, but you can still put in the comments. I will read them out, all of them, afterwards. And please like the video. Hit that like button now, because a lot of people are watching, but the likes are not matching. Also subscribe, because we're getting close to 5,000 subscribers. It will be fun to reach that before the end of the season, before we enter in the transfer window. Okay, then he talked about something a bit wild. He said it's true that Juve haven't won a trophy for some time, but we have an Italian Cup that we can try to win, and we have a path that we have started. Furthermore, never having been out of the Champions League for 11 years in a row is important when rebuilding. Now, yes, you know, it is important to get into the Champions League, especially for a team like Juve, because we need that money. So I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not gonna say that's a lie. It's not important. It is important. You know, you get into the top four, you get into Champions League, you get the money. It is important. However, this is Juve, and when we talk about rebuild, it makes it sound like we have the 2009 and to 2011 Juve team when we talk about rebuild. It's not that poor. And especially it's not that poor compared to the other teams in the league. That's all I've been saying. So my issue is that at this moment in time, the way the quotes are, you know, coming out, the way a big part of the fan base reacts to just reaching top four, it gives me Arsene Wenger vibes the last 10 years before he got sacked, or before he stepped down, whatever you want to call it. It was just making top four, and somehow Arsenal fans were like, well, we make Champions League football for 11 years in a row. I don't know, 10 years in a row, whatever. And they got absolutely dunked on every single time, basically, in the Champions League. only won FA Cups, never won the league in between, and still a big part of that fan base was happy. That's the risk you potentially have around the corner, because Marotta is not going anywhere with Inter. They're just not going to go anywhere. Actually, they will improve as well. They will. So they're not going to go anywhere. That you can take to the bank. Unless something insane happened in the summer with ownerships over there. And Marotta leaves and whatever. Inzaghi leaves and Lautaro leaves. Other than that, they're not going to go away. When it gets emphasized every single time about top four and top four and top four, at one point, I think they will make it sound like it's some sort of insane achievement that, man, Juve are top four. You can never imagine Juve making top four. We've been making top four with Pirlo. First year coach, we made top four. Yes, the final day, however, you made top four. Like, we have been making top four with quote unquote poor sides. So I'm not really like, is it like, yeah, you're rebuilding. I guess like you're rebuilding. Actually, it doesn't feel like a rebuild. It feels like we're just on a stalemate. It's just still, it's not improving. It's not going really anywhere at this moment in time. It's just whatever. But the risk, in my opinion, is that a lot of people and a lot of media start pushing the top four more and more. Like it's some sort of great achievement, and it's absolutely not. I don't care what people say. That team, compared to the others, if you include that, is far superior, and you should walk top four. And we are walking top four, and it should not be at risk at all. You should be making top four with, I don't know, 6 games before the end of the season. Easily. What is that? 18 points? That should be no issue. That should be no issue with that squad compared to the other teams. That should be no issue. 6 games before the end of the season, top four should be a wrap. Easily. Like, actually easily. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, we are second, so many points ahead, top four. Yeah, man. Like, the teams you're ahead of is Bologna in points wise. Like, that's nothing to praise. It's just default. I'll keep saying, because if it's not, then the issue is massive. Like, if I needed to sit here with the team Allegri has and say, man, it's only 6 points above who's sitting in 5th place, we would have a massive issue, because that's underachieving. That's all I say. So getting Champions League, obviously important for Juve. We all know that. However, I'm not going to celebrate that. Like I said, from now, 30 years from now, you're not going to say we made top four for 11 years straight. Nobody's going to say that. Nobody's going to say, again, if we do, it will remind me a lot of the Arsenal teams in the past. Nobody should be sitting here 10 years from now and say, remember when we went on an 11-year streak of making Champions League football? Like, what? Like, that's nothing to gloat about. Like, absolutely nothing to gloat about. That's actually very strange for a top club to gloat about or whatever, or to bring up. But whatever, we move. I already said that. That's weird. I doubled it. Okay, here we go. Then he was asked about, improvements and what needs to change and, what's good, what's not good. At this moment in time, said management will then work to strengthen the team for the next year, because we hope to play many more games. The most important thing for us now is to get results. A result tomorrow, and then we must achieve our main goal, which is Champions League zone. We have 3 beautiful months ahead to experience with enthusiasm, passion, and desire to succeed. I'm gonna dial down on beautiful. Anyone in the chat, let me know what's beautiful with the months ahead. I'm not really sure about that. Like, I'm actually very confused, because, like I said, the only thing to look forward to now is just wrapping up top four. Like, looking forward to is just finish it. Finish it off, just get top 4 and win the Coppa Italia. That's like the Coppa Italia thing is the one to look forward to, and there are no excuses. You should be winning the Coppa Italia. If you don't win it this season, he has a massive issue. Like, he has a massive issue. Even for the people who still are 100% backing Allegri, you cannot let him get away with not winning the Coppa Italia this season, because that will be a failure. Inter are out of it. Like, that will be a complete failure. So there is massive pressure on him to deliver that Coppa Italia, at least that. Because if he doesn't do that, it's a big problem. It will be a big problem. And on Allegri, really quickly, because I said a few people asked on their comments, what do you think about the billboards? I don't have an opinion. Fans do whatever they want. If they want to pay to have a billboard on in, was it New York, then that's on them. Like whatever, I guess. Like I don't have an opinion on that. Is it disrespectful? Is it not disrespectful? I'm not gonna get into that conversation. Everybody does whatever he thinks deems necessary. I think I'm not gonna sit here and say that's disrespectful. That's that. Whatever. That's up to anyone else. Anyone for himself to make up. I've said so many times, for me, he's a club legend. However, it's also okay to say, I respect everything you have done for the club, but me personally, I want to go into a different direction. I just want to see something different. That's all I've been saying ever. Like, I don't think I ever disrespected Allegri, because for me, he's a legend of this club. He is. I don't dislike him. I don't hate him, by the way. I dislike certain things he says. I dislike certain decisions he's made, and certain things that I see and reflect the team. I dislike that. I don't hate the guy. Like I said, I don't hate any player playing for us. I rate and do not rate certain players. Okay, let's move on. Then he said, football is not a mathematical equation. You have to consider many factors: the moment, the player's conditions, so on, so on, so on. And that's obvious. Otherwise, I will be rich betting on football, which I'm not. Actually losing money betting on football lately. But I agree. That's a fact. It's not. You're the better team. You're gonna win that 100% on the day. However, over the course of 38 games, it should be like that. You're the better team. You should be on top at the end of the season. If not, you have an issue, because that's top sport. It's not. This has not been invented in 24 or 20 years ago, but 100 years ago. You play this sport to win. It's as simple as that. So at the end of the day, if you have the better team, you should be on top. If you're not on top, you will get sacked and you will get replaced. That's how it always worked, and that's how it will keep working. If you're an ambition team, and if your owners want to win, actually. And then he talked about Alcaraz. Finally, I forgot about him. Like I said, I don't have my lineup graphic. But he said Alcaraz is a talented player. He's growing and learning quickly. I'm pleased with what he's doing. Diallo is recovering and will be a useful asset from now until the end of the season. The Alcaraz one is it's just funny. He's growing and learning quickly. Like, he's been 2 weeks here. I don't know what growth there is. You just need to throw him to the Lions at this moment in time, because he's only here for 3 months, and you're paying €1 million a season. And that Udinese thing where he didn't came on, Allegri got called out for it correctly by a lot of people, media, non-media, because that was a very weird decision. I thought maybe he wasn't fit, but no rumors about not being fit at all. Like, he's ready to play, and that was extremely strange. Will we see him tomorrow? You would think, I guess, but after Udinese game, I would not put money on that as well. Like, I wouldn't put money on Alcaraz actually coming on and playing a game. Now, let me read out the comments not really quickly. Let me read out. First one. Also, do like the video, people. It's very easy. Click that like button now. Really appreciate it. It does help me and the channel big time. Deep is saying it's scary for us how Inter playing tonight. Yeah, they played great. That first half was wow. Good. Let me see. Max complicated away match. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't be a complicated away match. However, he didn't beat Empoli. He didn't beat Udinese at home. So I can see why he thinks it's a complicated away match. But it shouldn't be, by the way. It should be straightforward. You should be winning away to Verona, like you should have been winning against Empoli and Udinese. We need to finish second to qualify for the Super Cup next year to play for the quadruple. Yeah, you're you can win the Coppa Italia and you're qualified for the Super Cup as well. You know, I'd rather do that than just finish second. Also, the Super Cup, Coppa, I absolutely do not care about that. Especially now with 4 teams. Like, I already struggle to rate it as a trophy because it was a preseason warm-up game. They made it mid-season, tried to add some spice to it. Now with 4 teams, it lost absolutely every value it held it. They're just adding more teams for what? Like, it makes no sense. And that it's mid-season as well pisses me off even more. Allegri could be playing against the Finland. Oh my god. And he will say it's a tough challenge. We need to be careful. He would. He absolutely would. You know. He also said that the performance was not bad of these 3 games. Generally, I give up. Sounds like he's watching. Yeah, he said against Udinese, actually, it wasn't bad. We created enough chances, and although I think we all watched that Udinese game, it was poor. Like, come on. Like, he can say it wasn't bad. It was bad. Like, it was really bad. You know, I don't know what game he's watching. Like, that was unwatchable. Usually, the day after I rewatch games or I rewatch parts of the games, I completely skipped the Empoli and Udinese one. I was not gonna do that. Like, that's something I'm not gonna go over again because like, it's already horrible. Even when we win games at times, that topped it all. I really don't think we will win tomorrow. If we do, then we got a lucky 1-1. I will do my ratings in a bit. I generally believe the only reason we're in second is that we're only playing once a week. If it was a standard season, we'd be fourth. I also agree with that. I do. Because he will be in big trouble, you know. Allegri deserves another season top coach. I know you're not a Juve fan, but thanks for joining still. Juve lost me mine last week, so imagine how happy he was. Bet, yeah, I'm never bet on the team you support. I learned that the hard way. I wish I would ask him something about Bonaventura links and craft a question in sort of way where the answer, he's not gonna fall for it. He's too smart for those things. Plus 10 Forza Inter. Yeah, thanks for joining and enjoying that because you are the better team, you know, and it could be potentially even more if you win that game in hand as well. Let's move on to the lineup. Let's do that first. Let me bring it up really quickly. This one is here. Let me bring up the lineup really quickly. So everybody's fit, he said, or like close to fit. Let's call it that instead of everybody's fit. He didn't give away much, you know, on the lineups. To be honest, he didn't give away much, but we know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Chesney in goal, obviously. Bremer is suspended. That's where the question marks are popping up, and I've seen a lot of things. You know, I've seen a lot of potential lineups and whatsoever. What I think is gonna happen is, ooh, that's not good. Excuse me. I think he's gonna do this. I think Alexander's gonna start. I think Rugani is gonna start. I don't think he's much. I think Gatti will be benched tomorrow, and I think Rugani will be coming into that lineup again. You know, actually, I wasn't really sure about that. Then I watched the video on his record. Rugani spoke, and he said, like pure defensively, Rugani is one of the best defenders I've had. You know, well, Bremer is out. Who is your best defender? By that logic, he should be starting Rugani, I guess. So I think he's gonna start Rugani, but I don't think he's gonna get Alexandro out of that team. I think he's gonna get Gatti out of that team tomorrow. I really believe that. Danilo Alexandro in back three is just terrifying. Well, yeah. Locatelli, obviously he will start. Rabiot, he's going absolutely nowhere. So Rabiot will start. Um, McKennie, that's the big one. But I do think McKennie is going to start here. I think Kostic is coming back into that team over here. And I think Weah didn't impress. So that means Cambiaso will be back in again on this side. Up top, the big question mark, is it going to be Chiesa? Is it going to be Yildiz? Well, Vlahovic start if he's ready. I think he's going to pick Yildiz tomorrow. I have a feeling he's going to pick Yildiz tomorrow over Chiesa. It's just purely based on fitness, I think. Short week. We played on Monday. We play on Saturday. I don't think he's going to start Chiesa. That's my reasoning about it. You know, I'm not saying he deserves to start over Yildiz. Yildiz deserves to start over Chiesa. Whatever. I'm tired to have that discussion now, especially when we have bigger issues to worry about overall. But I think he's going to start Yildiz. Obviously, if Vlahovic is fit, you get Vlahovic back into that starting 11. I think that speaks for itself because I don't want to say Milik in the starting 11. You know, personally, that's my thought. You know, and I will be accused again for being apparently a Vlahovic fan channel just because I said in my previous live with Reno that he's just better than Milik. Like, that's all I said, and I think that should be common sense, you know, and don't throw, oh, he costs 80 million, he should be better. I'm not even talking about that. I just said he's a better player than Milik. Like, I don't want to hear that comment ever. I don't want to read that comment ever again on one of my videos. That's all I said. Like, when Vlahovic played poorly, I said he played poorly. I gave him 5s post game, 4. I remember one time he was playing poorly. That's all I said, you know. And if the club goes out and they find me a better player than Vlahovic, I will be happy. Like I said so many times, I do not care about these players that much. I don't. If the club comes out tomorrow and they can improve, like if they come out tomorrow, and I like some of these players in this team, you know, but if they come out and they can give me a better player than Chiesa, where I consider it's like, yeah, he's obviously better than Chiesa, and they say we can replace Chiesa with that type of player, I'll take it because I want to win. I want to have the best player. So, like I said, so many times, no ties with these players. Now, score. It's Udinese. So what I want to see, and I doubt I want to see, I think it's going to be a very ugly, boring game that's going to feel like it takes 180 minutes instead of just 90 minutes. But what should happen, and people know how I... Oops, that's not okay. That was weird. People know how I do my ratings. So 6 means you just played a solid game, also because the opponent is just poor, you know, and you just went out there and did what you had to do. I want to see those type of games. Like, that's what you need to do against Verona. Don't give them anything. Like I said, just an easy game. You need to have the possession of the ball. That's why I give the center back 6. Should be giving away anything. Should be having a clean game. You should be having that ball for the majority of the game. Locatelli should be pulling the strings, and on the wings and up top, you guys should make the difference, and you should put that game away. Cambiaso had an extremely poor game. Against Udinese, excuse me. Against Inter, he had a poor game against Inter. Against Udinese, it was much better. It was still a bit hit and miss, especially in that second half. But he needs to have a very solid game. Kostic, you got to rest. Finally, show me what you got. Vlahovic, you have been scoring goals. Get back to it. And Yildiz, if you start, obviously, do your thing. Like, it's Verona. However, I don't feel confident. I absolutely do not feel confident. So I'm going 1-1. My feeling is that we're not going to win tomorrow. That's just my feeling. I don't have a good feeling about it. I do not like what I saw the last 3 games. Actually, it's extremely worrying what I've seen the last 3 games. It was. And that Udinese one, red alert. You know, that was so worrying. You know, so many bad signs. It was like, if you don't worry about that Udinese game, then wow. And people say, oh, we only lost 3 games this season. Or like, well, yeah, 3 games this season. Okay, but like, just isolate that moment. Like the last 3 games, there is reason to worry. And that's why I say I don't think we're gonna win. So I'm gonna go 1-1 tomorrow because I don't have a good feeling about that. I have a feeling there's gonna be a revolution in the summer. Expect like, let's see. So many different outlets saying different things. We just need to wait and see if now. If Rugani doesn't start and Sandro does, I might actually switch off the TV. Well, Ale, let's say he has a banger game tomorrow. I genuinely fear for Chiesa in the media because they will hammer him for no reason. They're already hammering Chiesa, and he's not having a good season. I've said it so many times. I've said it months ago, even when he had a 6G at that time. He's not having a good season. Parts of it is on him, Parts of it is just also on coaching because every single attacker struggles for us for the last 3 years. So we need to put that into the equation as well. Rogani should be replacing Bremer. I don't get it. I think he will replace Bremer. Inter showing how to play against relegation teams. Yeah, but we dispatch of Sanitana in the league at home. Yes, they played their B team, and imagine how bad, a B relegation team is, by the way. But we did that as well. Looking at the team, Allegri is doing wonders, to be honest. Yeah, he's not. A wonder was if you actually won the league. That's like, okay. Now, let me bring that up again. Looking at the team, Allegri is doing wonders, to be honest. No. Like, again, that's out of pocket. A wonder is if he's actually winning the league. Then I will come on and I will say, that's insane. That's unbelievable because I don't think he should be winning the league with this team. I've said it so many times. That's a wonder. Getting top 4 with this team, even second, if you look at the competition, it's not a wonder. Like, it's actually not a wonder. It isn't. It's not. So I'm not having that. But thanks for the comment. If Juve loses, Allegri should be the bigger man and announce he's stepping down at the end of the season like Klopp and Xavi. Good one. He's not doing that. Allegri is gonna play the same boring football tomorrow, and we might end up winning. Yeah, like there's not gonna be a change. Like, this is who we are. This is our DNA, and we just need to accept it. Like, actually, when people say, "Oh, we had good players when he got sacked," the football. I think people forget that when he got sacked in that season we lost against Ajax, the football was dire. It was horrible. That's why he got sacked. He won the league, but he got sacked. He got Ronaldo, and again in the Champions League, it flopped, and the football was unwatchable. We were scraping results. It wasn't good. People forget that, and he had a better team. So yeah, if you keep throwing games against relegation sides, we're not going to win against any side 15 place or above. Well, that's by that logic, yes, but we will. But I get what you're saying. Juve is going to win 2-0. People have to relax, calma. We should be winning easily 2-0, but I don't have a good feeling about that. That's just my opinion. I'm going to wrap it up. That's the preview. Tomorrow, post-game, I will have a reaction. Also, I will be live tomorrow because we play at 6 o'clock, so I have time. I will do a live show around the same hour as today, so stay tuned for that as well. And next week, Julian is back for a podcast. It's the end of the month, so we're going to hear what Julian has to say on what it has been a disaster of a month. No matter what happens tomorrow, it's a disaster month. It completely fell apart in ways I think nobody could have imagined. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, on Tuesday with Julian, and that will drop on Wednesday for you guys. Oh no, I think I'm lying. I think the podcast is the following week. I actually need to check. I forgot. He said today in his press note, try the information. Yeah, like it's not gonna change. It's not gonna change. But yeah, people, if you haven't liked the video, do it now. Also subscribe. Because a lot of people keep watching the videos but they don't subscribe. So subscribe because we're getting close to 5K, and it would be nice to reach that before the transfer window opens, because it's gonna be a very busy one, incomings and outgoings, and we're gonna cover that all obviously here, but still a long way to go. Thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.